normally... Oh, you want ready? Y'all ready?
Stop my camera.
Go ahead.
Okay, Lyntrina. How we normally... Let me just start over. Y'all keep them going. Okay, Lyntrina, how we normally begin the show is with some icebreakers. You've heard them before, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what we have, I'm going to do 4 icebreakers. Okay. One of them is just like random, but the other 3 have actually correct answers, so you gotta get them right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me see.
So this one is from television. In Everybody Hates Chris, Rochelle, the wife, always brags about what?
My man got 3 jobs, 4 jobs.
2 jobs. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This one's from music. Which artist always stayed with Coogee down to his socks?
Coogee down to his socks?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I don't know.
You don't remember? Okay, I'm gonna give you some people. Heavy D. Biggie.
Yeah. It's Biggie.
Yeah.
I had to think about the rhymes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This one is completely up to you.
Okay.
What hairstyle do we need to cancel this year? And I want my producers to tap in on this too, because they're young girls in school.
Cancel? We gonna have people mad at me?
I can give you some options, or you could just tell me which one.
We need to cancel the wigs and the frontals. Like, they costing too much, like $500,000.
It's too much money.
It's too much money, and you can grow your hair.
Like, just grow it, right?
Just grow it.
Okay, what you guys say?
The Jada Waiter braids.
Jada Waiter braids?
Yes,
I don't know what those are.
It's like 5 box braids in your hair.
Oh, the ones that go like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, you're over it. How about you?
The jumbo crochet twist.
Oh,
jumbo crochet twist.
Yeah.
You'll have to show them to me.
Yeah.
Okay, you
That's
over there
too.
Okay, all right then. That's what y'all canceling.
Okay. They ain't gonna have people coming at us. They gonna be like, what's wrong with frontals and the crochet?
What? Oh, you got your little hair done. You thinking? Okay. So, the final question is, which holiday celebrates the abolition of slavery in the state of Texas? That I can give you some options.
Please do.
Okay. A, Liberation Day, or Negro Independence Day, Kwanzaa, or Juneteenth?
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
I ain't heard of them. Now, hold on. I wanted to say Juneteenth, but I had to make sure.
Yeah, it's Juneteenth. Okay, so Lyntrina is a multi-passionate, the same as myself. And she has a few different businesses, but what caught my eye was her virtual assistant business, because you guys may or may not know, but I dabble in mobile and virtual assistant myself. And I wanted to talk to you today about how you got into the virtual assistant business.
Okay. Let's break it down a little bit, shall we?
Okay.
So I never knew about my entrepreneur spirit, right? So let's go back to, I was launching an online lingerie store, and I was getting ready to launch this store like 2 weeks before the pandemic hit. And I remember I was setting up, I was getting everything ready. I had a launch day. So to me, the world was still kind of normal.
Moving, right.
And I remember just going to my kids' daycare at the time, and they put a sign on there like, we'll be closed for 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. But then I started to see this everywhere, right? So I had second doubts about doing an online store. Fast forward, I was kind of forced out of work. The kids' daycare never opened up. And I went through that process for about 2 years. But doing my lingerie business, I did everything behind the scenes myself. Like building the website, getting the inventory together, things of that nature. And I just kind of kept going with that. But I took more classes that would help me with the foundation.
Okay.
And there's a lot of pieces that come with the business that
moving parts.
that people forget about when it comes to the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So my lingerie store it's a success for 2 years, but I didn't necessarily like being on the front scene anymore.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna go to the back end. I seen so many minority businesses like struggling with the foundation portion of it, or staying organized and being self-disciplined and all of those things that come with it that nobody never talks about that we struggle with. So I was like, I want to help my community build their business, but also to build it for the long run. Like how many of us may have had family members or know people who've had a business, had a storefront, and then it went out of business, or we were not left with any businesses.
Improper structure.
My history comes from a line of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
But nobody had a business to pass down to their children. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It is.
So that's because the foundation part was not built. It's just, I always refer to like building your house. If you think about building a house or you build a business or apartment building, whatever, the foundation has to be solid.
Right.
It has to be organized. You have to know what you're doing. It has to have a solid ground. Or what you'll find is if you don't build that house right, your house gonna start falling apart.
Right.
And then one catastrophe, your house will fall over.
And it's everything.
And that's the same thing with your business.
Right. So tell me this. With the foundation piece, what do you find to be the most critical for people to have that they don't have? What have you noticed in your time doing this? Like,
they don't have a plan.
Like
they
a
kind of
business
just
plan?
like some type of business plan. And I'm not saying something like is thick, is thorough, but some type of plan.
So people go into stuff and they have a vision or whatever, and they have a thought,
and they just winging it,
and they just go for it.
They just go for it.
They don't put any pieces to the puzzle together.
No, but how can you blame us? We were never taught that.
We're
learning this all as we're going. The more that the world is opening up, we never learned nothing about the business plan, nothing about organizing, nothing about your taxes, nothing about your finances, stuff that's gonna play a role in how much money do you need to launch the business. Nobody talks about how to connect with the audience on a deeper level. Everybody just want to sell, and just build a business. And then a lot of businesses are not aligned for that person either. That's what I found too. What made me become still. My passion was lingerie, but is this what God called me to do?
Come on. Yeah, I've been through that. I've been there where I find myself interested in something, right? But that doesn't mean that's
what you're supposed to be doing.
That's what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to. I just talked about this on a recent episode where you have to, in my opinion, make sure that you're using the proper vehicle, because that's what I've been noticing with businesses is that they're not using the right vehicle to get them to where they want to go with their business. So I gave the example of me with my t-shirt company. I had a t-shirt company. I have a t-shirt company, and I was using the machine that everybody uses to make shirts, right? Well, that's cute. That's a cute thing to do when you're wanting to make 2 or 3 shirts for the football game.
Right.
That is not something for mass production, right? So that's what I'm noticing is that people are often taking almost like shortcuts. You know what I mean? To try and get to where they think they... Because
you want a fast result.
Yeah.
You want an overnight result, and that's something I had to fight through. There is no overnight result. You do have to do extensive market research.
For sure.
Because what you'll find, you'll waste a lot of money. I won't even say wasted. I want to say investment, because everything that I learned has contributed to what I do now. But I look back like, I spent about $20,000, maybe $25,000 and didn't even know it because I would sacrifice portions of my check, large amounts to invest in something and to be like, for example, I bought too much inventory.
Too much
inventory right away without learning the business, without learning my audience, without finding out what problems or who I'm talking to or what they needed. I was going out strictly like, what I like.
What you like.
And I was just ordering.
This cute.
Just ordering stuff and just spending money and just, oh my God. And it was like, you don't really notice it until you like, something starts to feel uncomfortable with what you're doing. So you like, oh my God, I spent all this money. I spent all this money. And then I started to feel bad and I just got in a rut and I was like, I'm just going to be still for a moment. That was the best way. Like, let me just be still and get in tune with myself and figure out what am I supposed to be doing. Because I've been bit by the entrepreneur bug. I know that. I'm bit.
Right.
But this ain't what I'm supposed to be doing exactly. Yes, I love it, but how can I be a service?
Right. So when you decided to pivot into virtual assistant, you don't have to tell me who the person is, but what made you know, like, I could do this?
Somebody actually, I remember her name, and she probably wouldn't remember. Her name is Isha. I gotta get her props because she asked me to do something for her. I forgot exactly what it was. And I posted something on Facebook and she was like, I would definitely pay you to do it. And I was like,
Right.
People would, and then I noticed that I had already been doing this stuff for 15, 16 years and I was running from it. Never knew. I went to Alabama State University. Okay. When I came back home, I couldn't find a job. So I landed a job at the call center. Okay. I hated it. But I got stuck there. I felt stuck and I was always trying to run from that field. I worked at so many call centers. And I hated it. And I kept running from it and not just realized like God been giving me skills
exactly
for 15, 16 years and I've been running from it, and now it's like, well, now you can use these same skills and help your community. Yeah. So that's what kind of got me into virtual assistant. I was like, okay, I do want to see businesses thrive. I want to see them last. And I have what they need. I have a skill of what they need because I've been behind the scenes. Right. I see what the medical facilities blueprint is. I see what their workflow is. And you notice that everybody needs a workflow. We all have kind of the same workflow. We're just changing it up to fit your business. To fit the business. But that's the part that we're missing. We don't have a workflow.
Okay. So tell me, what are your... Okay, explain to us what a virtual assistant does.
Okay, so a virtual assistant is having your own remote business. So you are a 1099 independent contractor. You can choose so many different fields to go into a virtual assistant just based off.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but what I'm saying is, like, let's just say you came and you were to, let's use the podcast. Let's say you came, I hired you to work the podcast to assist me. What would you do for me behind the scenes as my virtual assistant?
As in my business, rather the goal assistant, I focus on email marketing foundation. And that's why I was saying you can pick that virtual assistant is your business. You can pick what skill that you want to focus on. Just because I'm a virtual assistant does not mean that I want to do a podcast, or does not mean I want to work with fitness, or does not mean I want to work with therapists. You can choose what industry you work with. So for a podcast, it would be, I would focus on email lists. I don't do any editing. You have virtual assistants that focus on your editing and your schedules. I don't do that. I focus on your retention. And you viewing your analytics and things of that nature, and how to always have topics and communication and to reach out using email free marketing.
So that's what you would do for me.
That's what I would do. No, you're fine. Okay. That's what I would do. I would only focus on email marketing and funnels and workflows. You have virtual assistants that will make appointments for you, and that's all that they would do. You have virtual assistants that will do your bookkeeping. You have virtual assistants that will do your taxes. You have virtual assistants for everything. So it really just depends on what that person is skilled at and what they know they can thrive in, and then you can add on skills as you go.
So for you, is that your target market? Is like people who need like to have analytics read and email marketing, email strategies and stuff put together? Is that what you?
Email funnels, workflows put together, things of that nature. And I really focus on anything wellness, anything that self-love, self-care things. So I focus on that industry. I wouldn't go to the fitness market because that's not who I'm targeting. That's not who I really want to work with.
Okay, so it's about, okay, let me make sure I'm clear.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so let me speak about what I was doing. So what I did, which makes a lot of sense with what you're saying, I was working with attorneys and doctors, right? So that's all I wanted to work with. I did not want to work with anybody in any other field because that's where I was the strongest. I knew it inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're saying that for your business, it's pretty much the same thing, and a person. So I guess my question is, are there virtual assistants that potentially handle all things or handle all industries? Or
you do that? You would just say I'm a general admin. I do general administrative work for all different types of fields. Like I wouldn't take an attorney. I wouldn't take a real estate agent.
Okay.
You have virtual assistants that's all they do. All they want is real estate agents. They don't want nobody else. You have those that they just want doctors and therapists. They don't want nobody else.
Okay.
So
I had no idea that I was even dealing in a niche.
Yeah, everything needs a niche.
I had no idea that that's what I was doing. I thought that that's just what I knew.
Yeah.
So that's all I was dealing with. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, people would call and say, "Well, could you assist me with?" It would be like random stuff. They have coffee shops and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm just not well versed in that, so I wouldn't be the best of assistants because I never worked for a company doing this. I just created my own company doing it. So, but like you said, it was because I knew the work, right? I knew the work. I knew the businesses, but I did not necessarily know.
Somebody gave you that blueprint.
Yeah.
And you just added it on something to yourself.
Exactly.
And there you go.
Yeah, because what you're saying is to me, it's like you could come in. You honestly could train me on stuff about virtual assisting, not just helping with the pod. I'm my mind working at this point because I'm like, things and you're saying things that I never even thought about. And I've been doing virtual assistant work seriously for about virtual and mobile assisting, maybe 7 or 8 years. But what you're saying to me is like, it's all new. You know what I mean?
Because you have virtual assistants that will come in and say, they just do their customer service and take their inbound calls.
Right.
So, I don't do that.
And I know a virtual assistant company that actually does that.
Yes, there's a lot of them.
Wow. And so that's like their thing.
That's their thing.
I never thought about that.
It's your business. You're just taking your skills. You can add skills as you go.
Wow.
Yes.
So, I guess now I want to know, you're doing virtual assistant.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been doing it and you are working well with it. You know what you're doing, obviously, because you sitting here teaching me something right on the spot. And then you decided to sell insurance.
I don't sell insurance.
What you do?
I do not sell insurance. I do not like I'm not a salesman and I don't like being sold to.
All right. Correct me.
I am a educator and a leader. So what I do now is I added onto my belt. I did go get licensed in the state of Illinois, looking to add more licenses to my belt as well.
Okay.
So what I do is educate families on the importance of having life insurance and having investments, because we do not have them in the Black and brown communities. For you to make the right choices that you need to make. Now, whether you get the insurance, the life policy or not, I mean, I want to give you this information so that you can make that educated decision. The same way you go shopping, you know which quality brands you want to make. You're making an educated purchase. So I'm educating you on the difference, telling you where to take your money, how to make your money grow for you, and things of that nature. Things that we didn't even learn in school.
Man, don't
even get me started on this past weekend because I was actually in Whiting, Indiana, and I walked past 5 different financial offices in that community. Versus if you walk in our there, we have nothing. Down 79th, 87, there's no financial. There was not one Chase Bank in their neighborhood.
Oh, it wasn't even any, it's not even any banks in these.
Because they have their own bank. They have their own bank. They have 4 different financial offices to help people understand the importance of having life insurance outside the job and investments. IRAs, all of that stuff matters.
It does.
And, just thinking about how much we could have saved our communities if we just had these resources and we didn't. And we didn't learn this information. Well, I didn't know nothing about the rule of 72 with money until I started with the company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
See, that's the thing. We need to... And
I'm sorry, but the reason why I did that, because I know you're like, why you the virtual assistant, how you doing insurance?
Because, well, let's get back to that because I was about to start fussing about something.
Your finances is a part of your foundation. Without you understanding your finances, you really cannot thrive in any business. You need to understand how to manage your money,
how money works,
and
use it as a tool.
And especially if you're an entrepreneur, who giving you life insurance? Nobody.
Yep.
You have to protect it, and even if you are employed, your employer does not care.
Not at all.
If they won't give you a raise, what makes you think if something will happen to you tomorrow that they're gonna take care of your family? They are not. That policy is not yours.
But they got insurance on you though.
Yes. They have insurance on key employees. Yes. Don't get me started. So the moment that you are terminated,
they cash in on your croaking.
Easily. Same with celebrities that then passed away.
Yeah.
Those record labels, they get paid off of them. So, having that protection for yourself and being able to use it. And lastly, I would say life insurance is not a death benefit or what we call death insurance. Life insurance is something that you can live, use while you are alive. Yes.
That's absolutely
right.
Yes. So, I'm excited that we were able to get into that. So, with this, with the insurance and all of the financial education that you use, that you have, the financial information that you have, who is I know you said that your core audience is African American and brown people.
Yes.
And do you work out of a certain office?
So I will say I am partnered with Primerica. I know a lot of people turn their noses up
at
Primerica because we have people that have probably had a bad experience depending on what office and things that they were with. I'm not looking at that. What I'm looking at is I was able to get state license.
My kids insured too.
Yeah, but you do have a lot of people that will turn their nose because they think about recruiting and they think about the different aspects.
I get what you're saying.
And you're not thinking about any license that you will get is an experience and something to have under your belt. That state license is up there with real estate license. Do we know that? No.
Yeah,
we don't even know that. We don't even know if you go get state license that you could possibly make just as much as a real estate agent because you are licensed. So while I can take my license, Primerica will never take my license from me.
Right.
That is something that I earned. I studied for it and I earned, and now I'm in process of getting my investment license as well.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
Yes, it is.
That's exciting. Okay, so I guess. Okay, this is how the show works, and I'm trying my best. I always every week try to not go too deep. That's what I'm always telling my producers. But okay, okay. So with your pivoting from your lingerie line, into virtual assisting,
Mm-hmm.
into your financial education.
Mm-hmm.
How, when you made those pivots, I want to know what did you learn about Lyntrina?
That lingerie business taught me a lot. It taught me a lot.
Okay, what you learned about yourself?
I learned that I have a bunch of ideas and not to just run with every idea that I have.
Okay.
That was an issue for me. I learned to listen to other people and not just listen to respond, but actually listening to what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to be still.
Okay.
Like just being a business owner and doing different sacrifices that I did, like those classes that were available to me. I started reaching out to community centers, and I would wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning and I'd be on Zoom with one of my cousins. She stays in Washington. She's never had a job. So I would take time out every single day to get up at 4 in the morning to hear her, what she had to say, because she's never worked a job. Why I didn't listen to her before, I don't know.
Right.
But she had just had great information for me. And everything that she told me, I just took it. And anybody who made more money than me, I'm listening. I wanted to listen to you. I wanted to listen because you did something that I'm not doing, or you somewhere where I want to be. So I need to listen to you. I learned to be still. Learn to just connect with myself. I'm still on my self-love journey. And that's just what the lingerie business taught me.
Okay. So you say that what you learned about yourself is that at that time you weren't a big listener. But you became one through that business. And so
I learned about sacrificing. I learned about, oh my God.
Now tell me about sacrifice.
It hurt. It hurt.
Okay.
You gotta sacrifice some stuff. You gotta sacrifice your time. You gotta sacrifice money. You gotta sacrifice friends. Sometimes your relationship would be on the line. So it just, I learned all the sacrificing is worth it, but while you going through it, you be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing it. But you just gotta go through it.
Right.
Like I sacrifice waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Who want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Right.
Nobody.
1 second. Where we at?
27.
Stop it. Stop it.